Hello, fellow artists and art lovers. Welcome to Doodleless. I'm your host and possible clone DJ. At least that's what the weird guy with the robot butler told me. Pretty sure he might be completely insane.
Blasphemy!
Okay. On today's episode, I wanted to do something involving one of my favorite shows, Clone High. In my opinion, the show is an underrated gem from the early 2000s with its witty humor and commentary about teen dramas. And not long ago, we actually had a revival to that show, which was mixed to say the least. One of my big issues was the new characters felt more like Tumblr OCs than characters that belonged in that world. And funny enough, I wasn't alone in that thought, because I came across some posts from other artists who took characters from the 2023 show and redesigned them to look more like from the 2002 version. And originally I thought that was actually a cool idea and that maybe I should try my hand at that. But then I figured, why not I actually design new clones that we didn't see in the show? So enough talk, let's doodle. Up first, we've got Queen Elizabeth I. While looking up this historical figure, I read that she had a lot of wit and charm which would help influence the people she would surround herself with, but she also was known for having a few flaws, such as having a temper, being indecisive at times, and was prone to vanity. So right off the bat, those are a lot of nice traits to take into account when designing a character. And as I was sketching her look, my first thought was, what if Queen Elizabeth was the class president at Clone High? And because of her status, she started getting more and more attention, which not only fed her vanity, but this caught the unwanted attention of Cleopatra, who basically acts like she's the queen of Clone High already. And because of this conflict, Cleo challenges Elizabeth, who goes by Lizzie for short sometimes, to a popularity contest, and the winner gets to be class president and get all the attention from all the students. And at first Lizzie would object because, well, she's already class president, but then Cleo maybe hits a nerve, and because Lizzie's temper, she agrees to the contest. And maybe the whole thing could be judged by Gandhi because, well, why not? Now for Lizzie's outfit, I actually looked up clothes from the late 90s, early 2000s. I found a dress I felt Lizzie would, sport, which had really nice colors that seemed to match the colors associated with the dresses she wore in her portraits. And there we have it, our first and newest student for Clone High, Lizzie. Up next, we got Charles Darwin. Now for this one, I thought it was obvious. I had to make him look somewhat like an ape. Like, we've seen certain clones look unfinished, or in some cases like Sheepman, who had some sheep DNA to help fill in the gaps. So maybe something went wrong with Charles' DNA and they had to use primate DNA to fill in the gaps. And instead of seeing this like a flaw, he just kind of gets used to it. So Charles would also be like a very studious ape who constantly is questioning stuff, which gets on a lot of the teacher's nerves. One thing about a lot of these clones is many of them were pressured to live up to the original people they were cloned from. So maybe with Charles, his whole deal is he wants to solve all the mysteries that his original self couldn't solve or didn't have time to, before he passed away. And because he's so studious and so observant, I think a funny trait for him to have is that he starts becoming extremely paranoid because he starts unfolding the truth about Clone High, and he starts having a theory about the secret board of shadowy figures, which would have resulted in Scudsworth having to keep a very close eye on him. And because this is Clone High, the students don't really believe him. Originally, I was going to put him in fancy clothes, kind of make him look like a Monkey Fist from Kim Possible, but this is high school, so after doing some digging and looking at fashions from like back then, I went for something like kind of like what Vanilla Ice would wear, I guess. I figured since this Charles is more active, he'd be more sporty than academic. And there we go, folks. Our second clone is ready for Clone High. So I think that's it. Oh, right! There was a third clone I was going to make. Man, that would have sucked if I left you guys hanging, right? Alright, just let me grab my pen here and... Freeze!